Welcome to the Dragon Ball Access Podcast with Smugstick and Dragon Ball University.
This is Luis from Smugstick.
And I'm Josh from Dragon Ball University, and today we're going to talk about fusions. Not Dragon Ball Fusions the game, although I'm sure we're going to end up getting into that a little bit, but fusions within the world of Dragon Ball, whether it be the Metamarise technique, the Potara earrings, maybe even some Namekian fusion, but who's the best fused character, what are some advantages, disadvantages, and that's where we're going. So Luis, I already know the answer to this, but who's your favorite fused character?
My favorite fused character. Well, there's two answers to this. I love Gotenks a lot. I know a lot of people don't like him. A bunch of people hate him. But he's one of my favorite characters in Dragon Ball because he's just fun. But also Vegito. I just have this love for Vegito like no other character. And it's real weird anecdote, but if you were to look at my school books and like papers I leave around work here and there, you will just see Vegito's face like everywhere. Because drawing him and his bangs is the coolest thing ever to me, and his design is my favorite.
I've never been too great. I have one like pretty decent Vegeta picture that I drew one day because I was just really in the zone. But I used to draw in detention and stuff, or study hall mostly. But every now and again, I always got detention because I was late. I was never misbehaving. I just am never on time to anything ever. Sort of like with uploads and everything like that. But yeah, there's something about his hair that I love. Vegito was one of the first characters that I ever was actually proud of that I drew. And I gotta be honest, I'm really with you on that. Like when I was a teenager, Gotenks was 100% my favorite character when he first started appearing, even before he really came to the dub, which was, what I really watched most of early on. But I'm also pretty torn between Gotenks and Vegito, though Gogeta I really couldn't care about. I'll accept him if he's canon in Broly, and usually once things find their way into being canon, I find my way into accepting them, just like I'm doing with Broly. But I always really liked that they fused different ways. Like that, I think maybe that's what I didn't like about Gogeta, was he was just big Gotenks that wasn't anywhere near as fun. Whereas Vegito was a completely different kind of fusion, a different outfit, a different everything.
Yeah, I totally get what you mean. That's honestly the same way with me. I'm not that apprehensive against Gogeta, though I don't prefer him. I think he's a cool looking character, and it's cool that he has a halo because it's the only fusion with a halo. So, special.
Yeah, true.
And Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta is always cool in video games. So, I don't hate him too much, but he's
I am a fan of the 100
lowest.
times Big Bang. Kamehameha.
Oh, the Big Bang Kamehameha. But which one's better, the Big Bang Kamehameha or the final Kamehameha?
I gotta go final all day.
Me
Like
too.
mixing the yellow and the blue is just, it looks cool.
Yeah,
I thought Fighters nailed it.
Yeah, the one I like though is the one from the Budokai games where he does the little spin. He spins as he does the Kamehameha. It's the coolest thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's where it originated because Vegito never did the final Kamehameha until Super.
No, true. He did not. It was a made-up thing, and I think video games, it's pretty rare for a video game to invent a technique, but I definitely think that video games make a bigger deal about techniques. Like, they're like, oh, Vegeta did the Big Bang one time, so now that's his signature move. And don't get me wrong, I it's a nice signature move, and I like it. And the Final Flash as well. I mean, I liked the Final Flash in Budokai 1, actually. It was I mean, as much as it was difficult to pull off, but there was something about being able to do it in base form. But I remember the combo of like hitting him, smacking him to the ground, and then they get up and you're powering up. Although Vegeta's facial animation, I don't even know if you remember it. It was so long ago, but Vegeta's facial animation for Final Flash was a little over the top in the original Budokai. Like the top of his head moved more than his jaw did. So he kind of looked a little muppety.
Every time I think about that, I remember him with the jacket on, his second outfit. You know?
Oh,
what I'm
yeah.
talking about?
Yes, that's right. The one he wore like in the end of Z when they meet Oob, right?
Yeah, I think that's what it is. That's really weird.
Like leather jacket and red shirt and khakis.
Yeah, exactly. It's really weird that that's his second outfit when the game only goes up to Cell.
Yeah, it was a very strange choice. And neat to think that, like, does that technically mean that Vegeta was a Super Saiyan Blue and he was just suppressing it? Because he would have been by that point.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
Now, speaking of Budokai, not really speaking of Budokai, but using Budokai to get back to fusion a little bit, do you remember Tiencha from Budokai 2 when they did all the what if stuff?
Tiencha, Yamhan,
I gotta be honest, I prefer the Yamahan name after I played Fusions, like with the whole Tenshinhan instead of Tien.
Yeah.
I liked the character, his hair was ridiculous.
It's crazy. But my personal favorite out of the fusions, the what if fusions, in Budokai 2 has gotta be Gokyo or whatever. I don't think he had a name in Japanese.
No, I don't.
Satan
Oh yeah, because how do you combine
Goku?
Goku? Was it just Goku Satan or
Yeah, something like that.
Gotan? Do you remember that he had two different looks though?
Yeah,
I don't
depending
remember
on
if
who
it was if
started
one. Yes, that's what it. Okay, so it was whoever initiated the fusion. I definitely preferred the Afro version, like the one that appeared in his imagination in Z. There was something unsettling about Mr. Satan's long face without facial hair and with Goku's hair. He creeped me out. He really it was unsettling to watch that version. So I very much preferred the shorter, like Goku's facial shape with Mr. Satan's mustache and hair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's great. That's my favorite thing, and I think he had he had a weird pink Kamehameha that was wavy.
Was it like the trick Kamehameha, or am I confusing that with like Gogeta's fake out one?
I don't remember the name of it.
I remember he did it like behind the back though.
Yeah.
He kind of he jutted his hips out and put his hands behind him and fired like a wavy pink beam.
Oh,
I haven't played Budokai 2 in years because it wasn't included with the HD collection, so it's been a long time.
Yeah, it's the trick Kamehameha. Yeah, I just looked it up.
Oh, fantastic.
There we go.
Now, this one doesn't really count as a fusion, but just a combination of characters while we're on the Budokai subject. But one of my personal favorite weird little what-ifs was actually in Budokai 1 when Cell absorbed Krillin.
That was the coolest thing, and I wish you could actually play as him in the outside of the story mode, because he's only available in that one story mode.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't put him in anything else, even just as like an Easter egg or a DLC. Let's get him in Fighters. Dragon Ball Fighters Season 3 Krillin Cell.
Yeah. I'm sure he's probably been
with
in
dots.
I'm sure he's probably been in Heroes at this point.
I don't think there's anybody that hasn't been in Heroes.
Yeah, for real.
With 80 different variations. But all right, so I guess back to, I mean, it's hard not to say the core three, because no, there are so many more. Now that I'm trying to, I want to consider the core three to be Gotenks, Gogeta, and Vegito, but we also got to remember you've got Kibito Kai, the Elder Kai. I mean, is technically he's a fusion, and if you want to get really technical, he's a hermaphroditic fusion because he's a boy and a girl combined. What's he got going on down there?
You know, I was thinking about that the other day. Since we have the new rules for fusions about how only Kaioshins are permanent Potara Ring fusions, but the witch wasn't a Kaioshin. So there should be something weird going on with that fusion.
That is true. She was not. What is... I want to... I mean, this is like really going out on a limb, but maybe being sealed in the Z-Sword, they couldn't separate?
Yeah, maybe. That's a cool thing to think about.
But hey, that's just a theory.
A Dragon Ball theory.
Thanks for watching. We're done. No, I'm just kidding. We're not done. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't they also retcon... Because there was a decent amount of retconning stuff in Super. Didn't Beerus put the Elder Kai in the Z-Sword?
Yes, he did. And actually,
along with shrinking King Kai's planet?
Yep. It's really funny that you mentioned that, because I love bringing this up when people talk about Beerus and Majin Buu and whatever else. Because originally the old Kaioshin explains that whoever sealed him in the Sea Sword was really powerful, but not as powerful as Boo. So now that Beerus is the one that sealed him in the Sea Sword, I like to think that either Boo was way stronger than we see in the series beforehand, or Beerus was done much weaker then.
Do you think it's possible that even Kid Boo, as we saw him, wasn't as strong as Kid Boo was when he took out the Kaioshins?
That's what I'm thinking, honestly.
Okay, well, because I mean, I know it's a definite that for some reason the Grand Supreme Kai or Daikaio, he, in addition to changing Boo's temperament dramatically, now keep in mind I'm remembering dub stuff from years ago, but the Elder Kai did say that it weakened him as well. But that could have even been a translation error in that it weakened him because he wasn't as ruthless.
Mm-hmm.
I am not sure.
I'm not sure either. I think that's right. It's been a long time since I've watched those episodes.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch that subbed and find out really. But at least according to the dub, he said, "Oh, so he weakened him." But I don't know. I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's another fusion. Now another one too, because this, I mean, it is a type of fusion. What do you think in terms of like the Namekian fusion, roping them in with the same? It's not the same as Potara or Metamarise, but it's permanent. It's more permanent than any of the others.
Yeah, it's really weird because the other fusions combine the bodies and the minds, but it seems like the Namekian fusion only combines the essence of the other person.
Yeah, it's more of an absorption than a fusion.
Yeah. But it's a really cool concept, because this is only a thing that Namekians have. And in Dragon Ball Super, correct me if I'm wrong, but the two Namekian fighters in the Tournament of Power have the powers of a bunch of Namekians combined into those two.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Now, did you ever read Dragon Ball Multiverse, I think it was called? Wasn't there a character like that in that tournament as well?
Yeah.
Like Frieza had come back, or his soldiers, and all of the Namekians put their power into one?
Yeah, and I'm not a fan of Multiverse, but that was the coolest concept in that whole thing. Having one single Namekian combined into... I mean, all the Namekians combined into one. So that's a cool thing that they used in Super, though I don't think they did it as well as they did in Multiverse.
Yeah, I did really like that concept, though.
Mm-hmm.
Across the board, it was a very... It was definitely neat. I'm sure it spawned several more fan fiction characters, and it's probably the bio on most people's Xenoverse 2 Namekians.
Yeah. What do you think of... Because Piccolo himself doesn't really change when he fuses with Nail, but when he fuses with Kami, I feel like he does change the list a little bit. What do you think?
I definitely think he changed... I mean, I think his demeanor changed a little bit with Nail, but only really towards the Namekians. He seemed to care more about his people after that, even though he didn't want to go back. But I don't think it really changed him fundamentally. But one of the biggest things for me that I noticed different with the Kami fusion was when, actually, on more fusion talk, when Gotenks was fighting Super Boo, and when Boo was wrecking the Lookout when he was in his little cannonball form, Piccolo was freaking out about the Lookout. He wouldn't have given a crap if it weren't for Kami. Yeah. So I definitely think that aspect changed him.
Yeah,
but
I have
also,
to agree.
I feel like it could be argued that while they did combine their essence and go back to what they were, Piccolo wasn't the host body before they ever separated. So they have the essence of the original Namek that had come to Earth, that eventually became Kami, but they're not the same Namekian. And to be honest, it always it not so much confused me, but I mean, Piccolo is in a sense a reincarnation of King Piccolo, but they are different as well. So I did always think that it was kind of weird that Piccolo and Kami were able to do the same. So I guess what I'm getting at is I don't personally think... I think that Piccolo got a massive power boost and a lot of wisdom from Kami, but I don't think they actually became the Namekian they used to be.
Yeah, no,
I think for that to have happened, it would have had to have been King Piccolo.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was thinking too. Then I always found it weird that Piccolo and King Piccolo are considered the same, but not the same at the same time. It's a really weird thing. altogether, but he is in essence a reincarnation. But I wanted to also point out another thing that I just realized just now, that that happens after he fuses with Kami, is that after they beat Cell, he specifically says, "I'm gonna be living at the Lookout now."
He does, and he stays up there. The next time we see him is when Gohan's going to tell everybody the news that Goku's coming back for the tournament, and Piccolo's up there.
Yep.
Zapping butterflies. Oh no, that makes 14 butterflies. Call me. Sorry. I've always enjoyed Mr. Popo's just kind of weird apprehension with everything.
Man.
Which is
Mr.
nuts because he's
Popo.
crazy strong.
Mr. Popo has a lot of problems, but he's a fun character.
Yeah, he really, yeah, and he does have a lot of problems. But definitely fun, and honestly, one of my favorite moments with Mr. Popo. I mean, my all-time favorite is him training Goku on the Lookout. In towards the end of the original Dragon Ball, like I really feel like Goku learned most of what he knows about sensing energy from Mr. Popo.
Mm-hmm.
But one of my favorite feats, not that he was ridiculously strong at the time, but the fact that he was able to round up Goten and Trunks as Super Saiyans and even like block several hits from Goten. And then be fast enough to catch Trunks off guard. That was something I just remember when I first saw that. I was very impressed.
Yeah. Man, filler does things to characters, man.
I'm just so now we've got retcons though. I mean, really for me, one of the biggest retcons from Super was the Potara fusion. It doesn't change too much for me, the fight against Majin Buu, because what's important is that Goku and Vegeta thought they were going to be fused forever. So it doesn't I've since gone back and rewatched both Z and Kai. And by the way, if you haven't seen Vegito's arc in Dragon Ball Z Kai, do yourself a favor, because it's just Chris Sabat and Sean Schemmel knew so much more about the character when that had. I'm sorry, I'm referring to the dub, of course, but they knew the character so much better that I really feel like they nailed Vegito the second time around, and I really liked it. So if you haven't seen it, dude, everyone do yourself a favor and check it out. They really condensed it too. I mean, I know that's what Kai was all about, but. So I went back after seeing Vegito in Super because, to be honest, I was disappointed in that. Like, there shouldn't have been anyone, to this day, there shouldn't be really anyone as strong as Super Saiyan Blue Vegito. He should be so, I mean, maybe Jiren, but even then, I don't think that it should have been. I feel like Vegito was underutilized in Super, but after the retcon, I decided to go back and check it out. And thinking like, oh, this is going to ruin it now because it was never permanent to begin with. But again, what was important is it was really a big moment for Vegeta. More so than Goku. Goku didn't care. He just wants to punch strong guys, but for Vegeta to have accepted that really didn't change. And I guess I enjoyed that. But it really makes Gogeta feel more useless to me. And I'm sure that the new Broly movie is going to prove me wrong, but why do a dance to fuse for half an hour when you can toss on an earring, be cooler, and fuse for an hour?
Yeah, that whole scene is really, honestly, powerful when you think about it from Vegeta's point of view, and I think they try to recreate it. Well, I don't want to say the whole creation of Vegito is really interesting in universe and out of universe because they were making Fusion Reborn at the same time as Akira Toriyama was writing that section of Dragon Ball Z, or Dragon Ball, not Dragon Ball Z. And the reason he was created is because Toriyama had heard that they were making a movie where Goku and Vegeta fused. So he said, "Oh, let me do that in my own comic."
Oh,
and
okay.
Yeah,
And
it's really interesting. So I don't know what things he took specifically from Fusion Reborn. But I almost said that they try to recreate that feeling of Vegeta uniting with Goku and getting over himself in Fusion Reborn, but technically they did it first. But it didn't, of course, it didn't come out first.
Yeah.
So
no.
I wonder
But
if Toriyama
I didn't realize
took
that they had
from the
done it first.
movie.
And I mean, granted, I'm a little biased just because I like Vegito more, but really it just, Gogeta felt easier. Like, all right, look at Gotenks, copy and paste. He wears the outfit that Gotenks wears, but with a different color scheme. And beyond that, there was a lot of similarities minus the fun. That's what I love about Gotenks is he's just so much fun to watch. And I guess I can see to an extent how some people could find him as annoying, but I never have. I've always, even when he's being ridiculous and coming up with all these fancy names and throwing the fight because he's trying to make it more fantastic, this kid is, I mean, I don't know if fusion age works, but if it does, then he's what, 7.5? And he's defending the entire planet. He's the last man standing. And I mean, do you know a single 7-year-old in your life, or even let's round it up, do you know an 8-year-old in your life that wouldn't do that if they were ridiculously powerful? All of a sudden, Majin Buu's the worst thing they've ever faced, and now this kid can give him a run for his money? Yeah. I always thought it was super fun. I loved his throwing his different techniques out, even especially once he started getting desperate and it kind of became clear he was making stuff up on the spot.
Hello?
Like, I think his charging mad bull attack, as the games and the dub called it, where he just popped horns on his head with his hands and ran at him. Like, a lot of them really just felt like, all right, I don't know what to do, so let's burn some more time.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe most of those were pulled out before he unveiled Super Saiyan.
Yeah, most of them were. Speaking of Gotenks, and I have to agree with you, I do see why people don't like him, but he's super fun. What is your favorite technique of his?
Of Gotenks?
Yes.
Ooh. I mean, is it cliche to say the Super Ghost Kamikaze attack? I liked that because of again, they were fun too. If they were just Gotenks shaped energy blasts that came out, it wouldn't have been nearly as cool. But the fact that they had their own personality, like, it made Gotenks a truly wacky character. And he really was kind of a joke when you think about it. I mean, he was extremely powerful, but it was like, it almost felt like Gotenks was there specifically to make light of everything. Like, oh, Goku just unveiled Super Saiyan 3, the most powerful thing we've seen so far. Gotenks can do it in a couple of weeks. Like, I liked how easy he seemed to make everything. But honestly, I'm also kind of a fan of the Galactic Donut, although not in terms of being a lethal technique. I kind of like I like Super Buu's version of the Galactic Donut more than Gotenks's. I like when he did the 3 of them to Gohan to hold him in place so he could blast him with a Kamehameha.
Yeah.
That I thought was a really cool use of the technique.
It is a really dope attack, that one.
Now, what is your favorite Gotenks?
My favorite Gotenks technique has gotta be the Boo Boo volleyball attack.
Oh my god, what is wrong with me? The whole time I was talking about that, I'm like, I know he's got another really big one, and I am forgetting it, and I feel like a fool right now. Is it too late for me to change my answer?
Man, no, I feel you though, because I also love the Kamikaze Ghost attacks. I have 2 stickers on my laptop that are just Ghost Gotenks around them.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I love it. He's just so fun, but the volleyball attack, the whole scene, somebody posted it on Twitter yesterday probably, I think. And I rewatched it, and it's so fun how he coerces Piccolo into helping him.
I love that.
Yeah, and he says, "Come on, Piccolo, you gotta say woohoo with me." It's just such a good scene.
I think one of my favorite 5-second moments of that entire battle was after Buu smashed Gotenks into Piccolo and into the dome entrance of the hyperbolic time chamber, and then Piccolo's like head just popping up out of the tub. Well, that'll just and again, it was another dub moment, but I rewound that on the VHS tape I had so many times because he just turned and he just get out of the tub, and I was even now I wanna go back and check it out because it was funny. Now, admittedly, for me, not techniques or anything like that, my favorite part of Gotenks is actually in design, and it's his hair. when
Oh,
he's
God.
not a Super Saiyan. I mean, I love Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, but his hair is just so awesome.
For
I
sure.
just loved what they did with that. And to be fair, I loved what certain artists have done with Vegito's hair too, how he has like Vegeta's brown hair for bangs. I've seen a lot of images where his hair is also kind of double colored, but Gotenks just, that purple around the outside just nailed it. And he didn't have really a combination of their hair at all. Honestly, Gotenks looks a lot like Vegeta, especially when he's a Super Saiyan.
Yeah.
I remember one particular shot when his body was, after he did his little spin kick and he buried himself under the ice, right before he turned Super Saiyan, he like flashed the Super Saiyan hair. And that shot, like, go back and check out that episode. I swear to God, that shot, they just cut Vegeta's head off in Photoshop and put it there.
That's so
I know they
funny.
didn't,
I've
but
never thought about
I
it.
always thought he looked really similar to Vegeta.
Yeah. You remember in the 2008 Jump Tour special, Yo Son Goku and his friends return, the one with Tarbo, for those who don't remember.
Oh yeah, with Tarble and what was it, Avocado?
Yeah,
Or Abo and Kato, and then they became Avocado?
and no, it's Abo and Kato, and they turn into something else. It's not Avocado, which that would make too much sense.
Well, that's silly.
Yeah,
okay.
but that's
I accept.
That's special. It's super fun, first of all, but Gotenks is very prominent in that, which he isn't nowadays, which is a shame.
Yeah,
But,
he really was, though. They gave him... It's almost like that's why he's crap and Super. They're like, we gave him his own movie.
Yeah, pretty much. But you remember, it's really weird, and I think they did this because they realized that the Boo Boo volleyball attack is similar to Tien's own volleyball technique. But they also gave him the Wolf Fang Fist. You remember that?
They gave Gotenks that?
Yeah, the Gotenks uses the Wolf Fang Fist and the volleyball attack in there.
Wow, I did not remember that.
Yeah, it's really strange. I like to think that Goten and Trunks spend their time together, like imitating their parents' friends and their techniques.
I mean, wouldn't that kind of make sense? Like, if you're growing up around all these crazy strong fighters, like you're gonna look up to them.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think it's great that they did look up to them. Like Tien and Yamcha, I mean, way, way, way more so Yamcha. But they both get crapped on quite a bit for not being all that strong when I couldn't stand a chance. I couldn't hurt Tien if he had both his hands tied behind his back and he was asleep. Like I could kick him in the face and he'd be like, "Oh, hey, what's up? I'm going to try beam your head off now."
Well, if he had both hands tied behind his back, he could just grow another pair.
Oh, that's true. Tien's weird. Let's do a whole Tien episode one of these.
Please.
He's a strange character and I really like him. And didn't care for his Boo return as much, but oh my God, when he held Cell at bay.
That's such a cool scene.
Oh, just so cool. Now, on that, I won't go back into this particular character for too long, but it is relevant again to Fusion. But that was undoubtedly my favorite thing about Tiencha. Now that you've mentioned the volleyball fist and the Wolfang fist, that was my absolute favorite thing about Tiencha in Budokai 2 was that their combined attack became the Wolfang volleyball fist. It just it meshed so well together. And I think that's really what made me like the character more than anything. I loved that those two moves had such a perfect way to combine with each other.
It's great.
And really, it's only because they end in fist. Like, that's really all it is. Like, if Goku and Yamcha fused, they could do the Dragon Wolf Fang fist or something. It's literally just that it's fist, but it really worked out well, and I liked it. One thing, though, there was a thing that definitely disappointed me about the retcon with the Potara earrings. And I mean, it's neat because now, they can become Vegito pretty much anytime they want, as long as Goku teleports to go grab a pair of earrings real quick, or if they're smart, just hang on to them. Like, here, Bulma, keep these. But one thing that the retcon did was when I heard Vegito was coming back to Super, I immediately just started going like, what are all the things that could possibly happen out of this? Because they hadn't yet revealed that Vegito's fusion was temporary. So when I'm hearing Vegito's making his return, I'm like, first off, it's something that's got to make them incredibly desperate to do this again. And it wasn't. It was Zamasu, and I liked him. Again, I've gone on the record as saying that I like Zamasu, but I mean, he didn't seem like that ridiculous level of a threat that it should have called for Vegito. At least the Vegito that was his like. I mean, Vegito was unbelievably strong. You never got to see the limits of his power in Z. There was no point that he wasn't messing with Buu. Even when he seemed like he wasn't, he always had the upper hand. And he felt so much weaker. And especially when you got to figure how much stronger were Goku and Vegeta's base forms at that point. And they went blue while fused, and they still really weren't enough. But one of the things that I was really hoping for when I first heard Vegito made his return, I now correct me if I'm mistaken, but I believe Shin and Kibito were separated before that happened. Didn't they separate around the time that we met Hit and Kaba and all them?
Yes, they wished themselves to be separated with the Namekian Dragon Balls.
Okay. So they had at least shown that there was a way to separate so that Vegito wasn't necessarily ever going to be a permanent thing. But I was really kind of hoping that there would be some kind of thing that the Namekian Dragon Balls weren't accessible, or maybe the Earth's Dragon Balls couldn't separate them, something like that. I was really hoping the next arc after Zamasu was going to be Goku and Vegeta are stuck together now. Or rather, Vegeta and Kakarot are stuck together. And I had this wild fantasy that the next arc was going to be Vegito basically more or less on a quest to separate, but by the time they did, Goku had spent so much time being Kakarot that he couldn't come back from it. And that's kind of where I was hoping things were going to go. I'm like, are we going to is this going to be how we get Kakarot back, even if it's only temporarily? Because there's no doubt that stuff does stick a little bit. There was something I actually didn't notice. I mean, I've gone through Z several times in my life. And one thing I really didn't notice until the last time that I watched it a few months ago. Look at how in sync Goku and Vegeta are fighting together inside Majin Buu's head after they separate from being Vegito. Like, do you remember when they put their hands and cheeks together and fired off that blast?
Yeah, that's such a cool scene.
Awesome scene, and it never would have happened if it weren't for the fusion. Mm-hmm. It's almost like they were, like, I mean, it harkens back to, oh no, I don't want to mention Spider-Man, but separation anxiety, the Venom arc where Eddie Brock and the suit are separated, and they're just trying to find their way home. I shouldn't have mentioned Spider-Man, because that's what I is that what you're doing when we wrap up? Because I'm pretty sure that's what I'm doing.
I just finished it. I gotta do the side missions.
I have been thinking, like, can we do a Dragon Ball podcast on Spider-Man? I mean, it's really, really popular right now. Can we find a way to tie that together? Because, my God.
So
I think for me, it's making all the which Spider-Man movies are the best irrelevant now. Like, what's better, Homecoming or Amazing or Raimi? None of them. Spider-Man for PS4. That's
PS4 is the best one.
That's the best Spider-Man movie. It's just, it's so good. We can't keep doing I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, we gotta move on.
All right. Fusion. Gogeta, we haven't talked about him too much.
He's a thing.
What are I mean, I'm gonna try to draw a complaint out of you. What do you like least about Gogeta?
Yeah, well, it depends on the Gogeta we're talking about. We're talking about Fusion Reborn Gogeta, right?
Yeah, Z Fusion Reborn. Yep.
The thing is, he's hyped up through the entire movie, and when he comes in, he beats the villain, but that's it. There's nothing to it. It's just. With Vegito, he was hyped up, and we see him and his personality. We see what Goku and Vegeta as one person are like. With Gogeta, we just see him be poof. Here's a glitter die.
That's still. I don't know about you. I do not like that. What is it? I don't even remember what it is. Spirit Crusher, Spirit Ball, Spirit Glitter out of my
Stardust Breaker.
Stardust Breaker. It's even lamer than the ones that I was making up. I've never cared for that move. And what sucks, Fusion Reborn is one of my favorite movies, and somehow my least favorite part is the fusion part. Like that, it really loses me with Gogeta. I like I like their failure more. I like the whole Super Saiyan 3. Really, didn't it feel like the Kid Buu fight? I mean, and I'm sure that's kind of what they were going for, but like the whole Goku getting his ass handed to him and then Vegeta steps in to get his ass handed to him worse, knowing that that's exactly what's going to happen. To me, it really reminded me of Kid Buu. And I'm sure that's what they were going for. I mean, it was a pink villain around the time of Majin Buu and Fusion and all that good stuff.
Yeah, but that's also just the formula, Vegeta gets
true.
kicked his butt.
Yeah, unfortunately. For me, most of what I don't like about Gogeta is it's calls back to exactly what I do like about Gotenks. It boils down to the design for me. First off, I don't know what it is, but I've never cared for his color scheme compared to Gotenks. Not that Gotenks is even that flashy, but Gogeta's vest just reminds me of Halloween. Like, that's all I see is just like, he's going to go trick-or-treating. And I don't like, again, much like with video games taking, techniques and keeping them going forever, okay, Vegeta was dead, Goku was dead, they fused into a dead Gogeta and had a halo. I fully accept that in the movie, and even as a costume choice in the games. Why does Gogeta have to have a halo in everything he's ever been in, except for Xenoverse 2, by the way? I actually did find... I didn't even notice that until recently. I'm like, oh my... There is a non-Halo Gogeta option. But the other thing, too, is I've never been a fan that he's only available in Super Saiyan. I mean, and 4, but I'm not really counting that in this particular instance. Like, okay, they fused in base form and they transformed mid-fusion. Gotenks has pulled that off, too. They went from base form straight to Super Saiyan 3. I accept that, but can we get a black-haired Gogeta once in a video game, maybe? Like...
It's funny that you mentioned that, because the Dragon Ball Super trading card game and I think Dragon Ball Heroes just released images of Gogeta in base form.
Really?
Yeah, just like this week.
Now, do you think is that some fan stuff from the old Gogeta, or do you think that that's wink, wink, hint, hint, Broly?
It's definitely wink, wink, Broly.
Okay. Because that'd be cool if we saw base form. Now, let me ask you this, too, because I'm not able to look stuff up right now in the middle of the recording. Is his hair any different?
No, it's just black. It's pretty lame.
Because I've been curious about that. Like, most of the time, Super Saiyan's hair, Gotenks and Vegeta are two characters who are unchanged when they transform. They just go blonde because their hair is already that crazy high level of spiky. But I was kind of hoping Gogeta would have something a little different. That what we've seen as Super Saiyan was the spiky do from being Super Saiyan, and that maybe it'd look a little more Goku-like.
Because that's what his Super Saiyan 4 form does. It's kind of like in between Super Saiyan 4 Goku hair and Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta hair.
Yeah, he's got Vegeta's mullet, but he's still nice and spiky. Like, I'm sorry, too. I like the design of Super Saiyan 4 Goku. I hate the design of Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta.
Oh my god.
Just from the neck up.
Jeans.
His hair is horrendous. It's just Vegeta hair with a mullet. Like, why? Make it shaggy like Goku's. Like, Goku's Super Saiyan 4 hair looked nothing like Goku's base hair. So why did Vegeta just get a mullet tacked on?
Yeah.
It's bad enough he's wearing leather pants. Now he's got to have a mullet too. And their shirts disappear. I know I went over that last week, but it still upsets me. I hate Super Saiyan 4 disappearing, reappearing shirts. Not as much as I hate their pants changing in Budokai 3, though. Like, I'm Super Saiyan 4, and my pants and boots are different. And then when I power down, they're not.
It's...
How much Fusion did we talk about? Have we talked about it?
Man, this is the most I've ever talked about Fusion, probably.
I feel like I'm missing somebody, too. We got all the Piccolo stuff, we got the Kaioshins, we got the 3 sets of Saiyan fusions.
We could...
Goku.
Yeah. We could talk about the Dragon Ball fusions. All the what-ifs that you can create in that game.
I liked how they did that. I mean, the only thing that was weird for me was didn't Bulma create the technology? Like, I know it was like Capsule Corp fusion tech, the armbands, but the thing why did they have to do the dance still?
Yeah, it's really weird.
Especially because anybody can do that. Yeah. Here's one. What did you think of that? Like the 5-way fusion mechanic in Dragon Ball Fusions.
It's ridiculous, but it's a thing that people have been wondering forever, and
Yeah.
it's fun to do. So
I really do agree it's fun to do. It was something I'm like, I don't know, but then I found myself doing it every opportunity that I had to do so.
yeah,
And they felt so powerful regardless of who they were. Like you just, before you even started attacking, just that initial power up, like that kind of power up scream they had every time after they did the 5-way fusion, it reminded me of Goku after he absorbed the Spirit Bomb in Super Android 13. Like there was just something before he even fought him, you could like, regardless of what TV or sound system you had, you felt that power.
yeah.
When he let out that first scream and his lips were all peeling back and stuff.
Speaking of fusions, do you have a favorite fusion in Dragon Ball Fusions?
In Dragon
Yes.
Ball Fusions. Probably Beerus or Weirus, whichever pronunciation you decide to go with. At least visually, I think that's just
Yeah,
awesome.
That's really cool.
I also I like Gohan and Gohanks, but not the age that he is. Like the fact that it's Kid Gohan and Kid Trunks, it's really neat. But I would have loved to have seen, and I'm pretty sure they've done versions of this, maybe even in Heroes. But like future Gohan and future Trunks is the fusion that I want to see.
Yeah, I agree.
But visually, again, for the same reason as like Gotenks, I liked the look of like Gohanks' hair and design and whatnot. But I think I got to give it to Weirus at the end of the day. And Celza was pretty cool.
Yeah, that one's pretty cool too. For me, it's probably, I don't remember if this one is in Fusions or in Heroes. It's probably in both. But Vegeta and Trunks' fusion, that one's really cool.
I think it was in both,
yeah,
actually.
okay, then, yeah. I definitely agree with the Beerus and Wiz one. That one's really a cool one. I really like Aurelie and 18, just for the fact that I can do that.
Yes. Yes.
That,
I don't like Pandela.
no, me neither.
I don't know why, like, mother-daughter fusion creeps me out. And really, too, like I'm glad Gohan and Goku never got to fuse in Z. I mean, first off, at that point, it would have been boring looking as hell, too. Because they looked so similar at the point in the story that they were planning on fusing.
It would have been the same gi and everything.
Exactly. Like, I am Goku with short hair and earrings. And apprehension, and I want to study sometimes. That's all I would have seen.
There was another... Oh, yeah, in that game, we also get the first female-male fusion, I think. No, besides the Kaioshin. Because we can fuse Great Saiyaman 1 and Great Saiyaman 2.
That's right. I forgot about that. I was thinking you meant with, like, 5-way fusion, because I usually had at least one girl on my team, so the 5-way fusions were never fully male or female. I forgot that those two could fuse. Now, I don't remember if this one was fusions either, or if it was Heroes, because I've seen it around. I think I've seen it in Dokkan Battle too. But have you seen Kid Buu fused with Babidi?
Yeah, I have. That one's cool because it's Kid Buu.
I mean, to be fair, it's less Kid Buu fused. It's more his outfit.
Yeah, but I like it because he has that magician vibe because he's wearing the vest. It's really cool.
Like, it's like Babidi didn't have much going for him, but I feel like all of his best aspects were incorporated in Buu, and like that would be scary, honestly. That like a Babidi Buu hybrid would be a pretty scary fusion to deal with, really on any level. I think. I'm trying to think of some more Dragon Ball fusions. I mean, I liked fusing like Tekka with everybody and stuff.
I don't remember many now that I think about it. That game is so good.
I gotta go back to it. It's now been forever. Some of them looked weird. A lot of times, the only thing I felt was sometimes they felt a little lazy. You can't even really say lazy because your character could fuse with anyone, and that was a big deal. But sometimes it was just like, now you're a Namekian with this person's hair. Like they didn't do a lot, but all of the custom fusions that they made, the new creations, I really liked. Didn't Pan and Bulla fuse? Or Bra, sorry.
Yeah, they did. That one's one of the ones that really represented the game. Like, they used it in Dokkan Battle and a bunch of stuff. It's just...
Yeah, they were both pretty big characters
in that game. Yeah, but it's kind of just, like, Pan with blue hair.
What did you think of... oh, man, what was the nickname now? Was it EX Fusion? Is that what they called it?
Yes, that's what it was.
Okay, what did you think of EX Gotenks?
I don't remember.
Because he was different than regular Gotenks.
Yeah, I remember him. The EX fusions were really weird because they were based on the fusion dance, but they didn't have the vest or anything, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, they had like more of a combination of their clothing than their traditional fusion outfit. Yeah. And I still just think it's weird. Like, why didn't the fusion technique take over the technology? That's the one thing that, like, I just feel like it should have been more like a Potara fusion. Like, you put on these armbands, you activate them, you fuse. Like, what's to say they're not just going to become Gotenks when they fuse like that? Like, I don't know. That aspect confused me, but either way, it was a great game with a really, really great style.
Yeah. But, EX Gotenks, sorry, let me bring this back real quick.
No, please do.
He's really cool looking just because of the fact that his hair is inverted. Though I like the version of the official art better because half of his hair is black and half of his hair is purple, rather than it just being a flipped Gotenks hair.
Right, instead of just, like you said, inverted colors.
And he also has bangs.
One that I gotta admit I liked too was Caroli.
Who is that, Krillin and Broly?
Kakarot and Broly.
Krillin and Broly.
I don't know, I kind of... Now I want to see Krilloli. Now I want to see that. Do we have anybody with Can in their name? Could somebody fuse with Broly to become Cannoli?
Please.
Because that would be cool. Nice little dessert. Now I want Krillin Broly more than anything.
Yeah,
ever.
Man.
I do remember when I was a lot younger, first getting into Dragon Ball, I used to really piss my parents off because I would just go to like the Saiyan Island website and just download JPEG images of Dragon Ball and print them out and run all of their colored ink dry so I could decorate.
That's what room. I used to do too.
And I had a picture of Piquita on my wall. It was Piccolo and Vegeta. And that, I don't know, that was like back when I first started. That was what first started making me question those kind of things. Was like, can two different races fuse? How does all that work?
That's so funny.
And I mean, I think they relatively clearly can, but it's. I would like to see more. Like, I would love to see a Namekian Saiyan fusion at some point, even just temporarily.
Well, we did see it technically in Goku's imagination when he thinks about fusing with Dende.
Oh, Dende. That's right. Yeah. I love that he actually thought, and I agree with him, that he actually thought fusing with Mr. Satan would be the smarter idea.
I mean, for sure.
Like, not only is Dende not a fighter, he's more of a healer, but also they would have lost the Dragon Balls in theory. Mm-hmm. But I liked his reasoning, like that his lack of knowledge about Ki was going to make things difficult, but at least he knew basic martial arts. Now, here's one, though. Do you think they would have been stronger than Goku? They wouldn't have been strong enough to beat Buu, no doubt, but do you think that Goku would have been stronger than Goku or weaker?
I think he would have been stronger. The thing about Goku, I think that... I mean, they would have been able to beat Buu, especially after he absorbed Gotenks and Gohan. But I think... the thing is that Mr. Satan is so unpredictable and Goku's a genius in martial arts that I think they would have stood a chance on the basis of being so unpredictable.
Yeah.
So I think it would have been a pretty cool fight, honestly. But yeah, I think it would have been stronger than Goku. I mean, at least by a tiny margin.
Yeah, it was just something I've been finding myself wondering. Like, I know obviously in most cases when you fuse, you're exponentially increasing the power of the two people fusing, but it just got me thinking there, like, Hercule is so much weaker than Goku. Like, how would he have drawn his power down or would he have added, like, would it be Goku plus her, like Goku with like a 100 power level or so more than he had before, but also wacky techniques and whatnot.
Yeah.
Didn't 17 and 18 fuse in fusions
Yes,
as well?
it's I don't remember the name of it, but it's pretty cool. It's a really cool.
I feel like it might have just been 17, 18 or something silly like that.
Yeah, I think
17 and a half.
I think from what I remember, they just kind of look like Super 17, but with like blonde hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was cool looking.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wanted to.
I'm trying to remember all. There were just so many. That was the fun part. I really hope they get a sequel, and I really hope they bring it.
Me
to
too.
console.
A Switch Dragon Ball Fusion.
It was a
great.
really nice concept. Exactly. It was great. It was great on DS, but it belongs on the Switch.
You know, we were talking about you were talking about Vegito's voice for a second there, and I think one of the coolest things about fusions is their voices, but I did want to talk about some weird things that different places do with the voice, because of course that's not in the original manga. You that's something you have to interpret.
Definitely. Yeah, it's not like there would have been two. Oh man, he's got two voices in the manga now. What would they like? Just double the font up or something? There wouldn't really be a way to do that.
So I think it was ingenious for the guys making the anime to do that. Or just overlaying Masako Nozawa's voice with Ryo Horikawa's voice. That's genius. But there's also some interpretations. Like I'm not sure if it's the ocean, like, because I know there's 2 English dubs, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
yep.
I think it.
There's the Ocean dub and the Funimation dub.
The Ocean dub.
And the Ocean dub actually kept going. Like, you can check stuff out on YouTube. Like, and oddly, they used a lot of the same scripts. Like, I've seen clips of Super Vegeta fighting Cell in the Ocean dub saying word for word what the Funimation dub did. And maybe vice versa. I mean, but I don't know if they worked on it together. But either way. So did the Ocean dub have a single voice for the fusions?
That's the thing. At least I'm pretty sure it was the Ocean dub, that they had one voice for Vegito, but it was the voice actor for Goku doing an impression of the voice actor for Vegeta.
I mean, I guess to an extent I can see that. I can see how somebody would have thought that would work. Like that was their way of combining the two voices, but no, the double voice, it's iconic when it comes to Gotenks and Vegito especially. It is, and I mean, sure, it makes no physical sense whatsoever, but who cares? It's Dragon Ball. And it really is, it's an iconic sound, though, to have them both. And I've always been fascinated with watching, like, behind-the-scenes vocal booth stuff with Fusion.
Yeah.
And to be honest, like, that's been one thing, and I mean, they might be done soon, and if you guys are, best of luck to you. Really, it's been a fun ride, but I've been looking forward to Team 4-Star doing that for years, and I mean, I'm not sure if that's going to happen at this point. I mean, it really seems like they might be ready to take a break or even finish the show, and if so, again, best of luck, guys. It's been amazing. I know I wouldn't be here without you.
Man, we should do an episode of just Teams 4-Star, honestly.
I'm cool with that. Because to be honest, too, like, at this point, it's so big that it's not just some YouTube series. It is a part. There are many people who got into Dragon Ball because of Dragon Ball Z Abridged. That had never watched it, watched that, and were like, okay. And I mean, really, like, if they just, I'm proud of everything that they've done. They've just done such a enormous job. I got into them. Episode 25 was when I was introduced to the series, and then I went back and rewatched all of it just in time for the season 2 finale to come out.
Man.
So the end of Frieza and all of the androids in Cell, I've been with them, and
yeah,
it's getting good.
It's
getting
crazy.
good.
It's crazy, man. I started watching them on episode 5. It was crazy because they just had started, not too long after I moved to the United States. So pretty much, because I basically know no English. So I knew Dragon Ball, and I knew basic things about Dragon Ball for me to follow the series along well enough. And the first few episodes were pretty basic, so it was a good way for me to get introduced to English. And just watching that honestly, I thank Team 4-Star and by a smaller margin, Little Kariba, who did Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged, for teaching me English.
Yeah. That's awesome.
It's crazy.
That's really awesome. Now, I've got an immense amount of respect for those guys, and what they've done has been incredible. And I mean, just look at what they've done for the fandom. Look at how much they're in Xenoverse. That is just so cool. It's so awesome that they've come as far as they have. And honestly, if you guys finish it with the Cell Saga, fantastic. You did an amazing job. You're tying up some loose ends. And hey, if take 5 years off, and if you want to come back, just rebrand it Dragon Ball Z Abridged, the final chapters like Kai did, and come back. Like, take yourselves a much needed break for several years, and then but for real, like, I hope that they don't let the pressure of people that feel they deserve their episodes, like, what they have given everybody is a gift, and it's a gift everybody should be thankful for. And it's always irritated me so much to see just all. I mean, you can't go on a video without seeing comments of, when's the next episode, and it's hard, man. Like, it's hard. I did 2 episodes of an abridged series, and it almost killed me, and mine wasn't even good like theirs. It's so well written, and especially the Cell Saga. Once they hit the androids in Cell Saga, they have some of the best writing I've seen, honestly, in anything, let alone just online parody.
For sure.
They don't have, there's no fat in their scripts. Every word is exactly where it needs to be. Yeah, I was looking forward to seeing their take on Fusion.
Me too.
When they got there in Abridged, because I loved what they did with Goku and Captain Ginyu. I absolutely loved that choice to have their voice actors swap.
Yeah, that was so funny.
I think it was, Masako X did an Antfish impression, and Antfish did a Masako X impression. And it was just a genius way of pulling off that body swap.
But, we were talking about the English dub of Vegito, and I was just wondering this, because you said you liked it a lot. It's always bothered me, because I've never been a fan of the English dub, but I've always loved at least Vegeta's voice. But for some reason, when Goku and Vegeta fuse into Vegito, it always sounds like Chris Sabat is doing an English accent when Vegito speaks.
Yeah, more so than he does with just Vegeta.
Yeah, and it's really off-putting. I don't know why.
Have you seen the Kai version? Not to go all Kai's so good and stuff, but I feel like he fixed it quite a bit with the Kai version.
It's been a while. I don't remember if I have, but at least from what I remember, in the last thing I watched in English, I was playing Raging Blast 1 a few days ago, and that was what he sounded like, so that's from where I remember that.
Okay, alright. I missed the Raging Blast series, they were good. Yeah. Alright, well, I think we went off topic more than a few times this week, but I'm hoping we reach a point that things just become a little bit more freeform, and I really like sticking to a subject, but we're always going to find these branches and go off on tangents, and it's just there's so much to talk about in this world. But thank you again for sticking around, listening to some Fusion talk and some everything else talk.
Yes, thank you very much, guys. It was a lot of fun this week, and I'm really looking forward to making more of these.
Absolutely. So make sure to stick around. If you haven't done it yet and you want to, go ahead and click that subscribe button. Sometime, hopefully in the next few weeks, we're going to start getting onto other platforms besides YouTube. I've got audio-ready versions of all these podcasts. I'm just not smart when it comes to that. I'm really learning new things, and this whole thing has been... This went a lot faster than I think either Luis or I expected it to. It was chatting. We should do a podcast, and within like 2 weeks, we had our first episode done. And then we're like, so now we're committed to sticking to an every Sunday thing. So bear with us. It's the wheels are still a little bit squeaky, But I've been really enjoying these chats with you, man, and I look forward to doing it for many, many Sundays to come.
Yep. Thanks for watching, guys. Till we meet again.
We'll talk about more next week. See ya.